speaker. She's LeAnita Ragland. So she's an accomplished business leader and keynote speaker with over 20 years of experience in financial services and leadership. So she has held senior roles at leading organizations, driving innovation and business growth, and a passionate advocate for resilience and women leadership. So she inspires audience with her journey and a stage 4 cancer survivor. And please join me in welcoming Leonita Ragland Brooks. So
Hi,
all the stage yours, Leonita, and all the best.
thank you so much. And will it be, I was going to ask if you could drive the presentation, but I will. And thank you. It is wonderful, IDIAS, to be a part of, oh, excellent, uh, to be a part of this next gen conversation and to really talk about leadership in a way that I probably haven't talked about leadership before. So 9 months ago, I was literally in a hospital bed and I didn't know my name, my future, my birth date, where I lived. And what was really painful was not knowing who my children were. So I want to share a story today about what my experience in life has been and how my 30 plus years in corporate America has helped me think through how I lead not only or others, organizations generating billions of dollars, but what that means to me in terms of my future, my health, and leading through uncertainty. Give me a second here to get the next slide. So every leader has a defining moment, and that can be, it can be anything. It can be someone on your team who's a top performer leaves and decides that, they're president's club and they decide that they want a promotion. It can be the markets tumble. It could be COVID, where you've got your plan all set up and you know how you're going to make your number and how you are going to achieve your goals for the organization. And then poof, something comes from behind and blindsides you. It's not on the vision board. It wasn't on the growth strategy. It wasn't on the goals, but somehow it comes up from behind you. And that's really what happened to me about 4 or 5 years ago. I was in the shower, giving myself a beautiful spa day, and I found a very large growth. And I said to myself, I think this is this is going to turn out well. In that I knew, even though I'd had mammograms 23 years annually, and everything was always perfect and clear and clean, and come back next year, there was something about this experience that said to me, my life is going to be changed forever. Prior to that moment, when I talk about leaders having an experience that changes them, before that, I was an executive with Prudential, managing director. I was with American Express. I had global clients in banking, JP Morgan Chase, US Bank, etc. And I was very focused on growth and initiatives and achieving goals and being really incredibly good and being at the top and ensuring that I was coaching my team around overcoming obstacles, but also leading and moving forward. And then I was in my dream job with Prudential. Focus and then impact happened in a way that I had never dreamed of. So as I mentioned, I had stage 3 cancer, and I did all of the things. I did everything that the medical community recommends. I aligned myself with the right team. I did a double mastectomy, chemo, radiation, all of the things, like not necessarily a checklist, but the pieces that you think will help propel your life forward. And I rang the gold bell very proudly in August and was elated. And then while I was doing a conference, I felt that something was wrong. Something was dreadfully wrong with my mind, my brain, and I knew that I couldn't function. So I was being, from a leadership perspective, I led with finding and availing myself to every expert that I could and taking every test that was possible, PET scans, MRIs, you name it, I did it. And what we discovered was during that time frame, I ended up being in the hospital for 42 days. And 42 days is a long, long time to be in a hospital. And every day I had about 5 teams that were, 5 different medical teams that were looking at me from a neurological perspective, from a, you name it, they were there. And every day they come and share with me, we don't know exactly what it is, but we're going to find out. We will find out. And I mean, literally the 2 words that I said the most were the and to, but not much else. So to be able to have an incredible conversation with you now is exhilarating. So for those 42 days, I began to progress. And I would say about the 30th, 35th day, I developed delirium. And I thought I lived in the hospital. I thought the team reported to me. I was in a new leadership role. And I was envisioning and imagining and fighting and driving results and doing things that simply were not true. I, I created people that didn't exist, or maybe that I haven't met yet. But it was this integration of my regular 3D life and hallucinations from memories of things past and creating new memories that, as I mentioned, were not real. But my brain continued from a strategic and leadership perspective. It continued to push forward and to push forward. And that to me, when I mentioned that leaders are really, I think, born during adversity. I think well, I know it sounds a little trite, but I think anyone can lead when everything's going really well, when every client says yes, and the money's rolling in, and you're achieving your goals, and not to in any way to diminish that, because that's also critical. But I think when you are going into a deep, deep hole and you have no idea whether you're going to live or die, there is something about that that helped me take my leadership skill set and combine that with momentum and abundance to make a difference in my life and to be able to share with all of you. So I took ownership. I really took ownership around getting 5-second opinions instead of 2, doing relentless research to the degree that I could. I have a particular cancer that is underfunded, under-researched, but very, it's the second most, I won't say popular, but the second largest cancer that is around for women in breast cancer. So the treatment plans are always evolving, the treatment approach always evolving, which in some ways is exciting because there is research that's being done now that will, as I take a medication, or actually a 3 medication cocktail, it's enabling me to extend my life. Now, it may not cure my life, but it's extending my life. And the leadership that I'm utilizing for that extension, I am really overjoyed about. My piece around building a board of directors and surrounding yourself with all of the right people that are available to you. Now, I had a team that originally got me through 3 years, and and they were amazing. However, it was clear to me that I needed more. So one piece that I share with you as you build your team and you build your board of directors around you, whether it's in entrepreneurship, in business, or from a personal health perspective, or maybe even helping parents or children lead through what is in front of them. I would say that from a board of directors perspective, it's availing yourself to people who are smart and quick, but also are aligned with the goals that you have for yourself. And that, from a resilience perspective, has been critical for me. And knowing that you don't have to do it alone. You're not by yourself. There are you open up the floodgates, and there are a number of people who are there to help and support you, and who can bring in new ideas and provide you with solutions that you may not have been aware of. One of the pieces that I do daily is I protect my thought process. And fear is can be evident in a kind of life-threatening situation. But fear can also be ever present relative to a business environment. And fear can appear to be real when it really is a figment of your imagination. So I'd say that information, is endless, and then, be selective around the information that you choose to integrate into the way you process. And protecting your thought process it is really, your mind is one of the greatest assets that you have, and it can take you to places that you may not be aware of yet. And you may not know the how of how you're going to implement. But I would further amplify that protecting the thought process made a huge difference for me. And from a resilience perspective, I mentioned a few of the different procedures that I've gone through. And each one of those can be life changing. And the combination of pieces, as in business, can be life changing for the good, for the bad. So it's really taking it one step at a time and continuing to move forward. And when you are, from a leadership perspective, particularly for our next generation of young leaders, what I find interesting is I think the benefit that we had, and I'm dating myself a little bit, but the benefit that I had in my first role at Xerox was to be able to surround myself with being in office and be able to take advantage of sage wisdom from other individuals whom had been at Xerox for some time. And, even though one may be working out of his or her bedroom and maybe in a virtual environment, that piece of tethering to someone who cares deeply for your success, whether it's your direct leader or others in the organization, can really be beneficial and can help you build resilience through the changes that can come your way and through your decisions that you make from a career growth perspective. And I share with you, as I have continued to grow, develop, and integrate my health principles and my mindset, I created two pieces to help me be very direct with my experiences and purposeful in my decision making. And the first is called the Phoenix Principle. So I spend, as I look at my day, as I look at my agenda, I look at what it is I want to accomplish, I've developed a process whereby I'm integrating abundance, and integrating mindset of what I want to accomplish, and thinking through all of the components that are all of the meetings that I'm having, the presentations that I'm doing, and I'm integrating that in a full 360 versus compartmentalizing. And that's been incredibly helpful for me. The other piece I have developed is a superpower methodology. So I've written a book, and I'm going to do a shameless plug for just a minute. I've written a book, and it's called Superpower. It's called Survival is My Superpower. And again, shameless plug. And the reason I say that is it's not about the book alone. It's about becoming very centered and focused and how to move forward when life gives you a curveball, when business throws you a curveball, and not allowing that to unseat your footing. So within my superpower methodology, I talk about, strengthening where you are and strengthening your mindset. Also, understanding what's in front of you, doing that due diligence, and then being very purposeful with, and in my case, it was with a diagnosis, but a diagnosis doesn't necessarily need to be a cancer diagnosis. It can be a diagnosis on performance or diagnosis on a client's performance and what's happening with them, particularly with the way the markets can impact an organization's performance. So instead of like reading line by line, I know all of you are capable of reading this, but the superpower methodology has not only helped my process, but it's helped my clients as well. And clients who've experienced a variety of different traumas, not only health traumas, but trauma and grappling with perhaps putting it in the back of their mind, but not being aware that there was a process that they could do that could make a difference in terms of how they move forward. So with my survival is my superpower, it has the amount of reach that it has had for people and the application in business, in health, in entrepreneurship has been exciting. So again, the leadership through uncertainty. Uncertainty is everywhere. Uncertainty. You may not even know where the day will take you today in terms of uncertainty. You know, the plans that you have may be very steadfast and you're moving forward, but that uncertainty piece, like having a comfort level with uncertainty makes a difference. And being able to implement and overcome fear and think through the due diligence that you're going to take to make a difference from a leadership perspective is paramount. All right. So I'm curious if there are any questions. I would love to make this. Please put in the chat if you have any questions around the process that I've created. Any questions on to where I can provide information relative to my health journey and how I moved forward and how I continue to fight, because I'm still living with it. I am right in the middle of this cancer journey and not on the back end of it yet. So if anyone has, something that they'd like for me to share, definitely raise your hand and let me know. I'll be glad to answer.
Yeah. So that was a wonderful and short and sweet presentation by LeAnita. So there are some couple of questions. So what inspired you to create superpower methodology?
Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you for going first. I think the biggest challenge for me was I'm a very creative person. I've got that left and right brain dominance, and I'm strategic. And honestly, the biggest fear that I had was that I had lost both of those assets. And it was scary. I was in a dark hole, what couldn't was not eating for like 2 months. And and my neurosurgeon thinks that what it was probably a virus that hit my brain. And the cancer was all over the body. So people will say, I think there are really two choices in leadership and in health or with cancer. You move forward and you continue to be vigilant about fighting, or you lay down and let it take you over. And that was what really had me be motivated and now inspired to share and create the methodology. And it has really helped me take control. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. So there is another question. So which superpower principle has the greatest impact during uncertainty?
Has the greatest impact? I didn't hear the last part, please.
Greatest impact during uncertainty.
I would say the greatest for me has been the W for win. And the reason I say that is I celebrate small wins. It's a culmination of, and absolutely in leadership as well. It's not just the big gold bell. Like, it's not only the big gold bell at the end of the year or the end of the cycle. It's every monthly appointment that I have with my oncologist, getting these injections to stop to slow down estrogen. I'll get an estrogen-driven cancer, and the wins, the small wins, the celebratory approach that I take with myself has been huge for me. And I absolutely encourage all of you to do that. Whatever win you define and celebrate. And if you can do that daily, weekly, it makes a huge difference in your life. And that culmination to continue the fight, continue the journey in the marathon.
Yeah. So there is another question in the chat box from Dr. Darshil. So people do not often pair strategy and creativity operating simultaneously. So can you please share why one empowers the other?
How the strategy makes a difference? Is that the essence of the question?
Yeah, strategy and creativity operating simultaneously. And can you share why one empowers the other?
Oh my gosh, you're on fire today. Like these questions are amazing, and I love it because I think we take. I have been successful in my career by integrating creativity and left brain, right brain. I think most people think they're either right brain dominant or left brain dominant, and they leave that other piece behind. And I think the value of integrating those, as an example, I'll give you one example. Uh, from a left brain perspective, it was thinking through and listening to the advice that my medical team was giving me. So that's the left brain. You have a tumor. These are the 3 or 4 things that we will need to do, and you will move, and we implore you to move forward in doing this. So that was the left brain piece of it. But the right brain piece was how do I get, not necessarily how do I get there, what do I do in each phase so from a creativity perspective, you'll see that I have on fuchsia today. Well, I have on fuchsia every day because the creative color for me, it embodies power. It embodies femininity. So that is my signature color. From the creative process, I also utilize when I go to see a physician, when I go to have a procedure, I'm looking at the way in which a creative way in which I can combine the linear piece of what I have decided I am going to do, because you don't have to do anything. I mean, making a decision not to move forward with any pharmaceuticals, any treatment plans, that's also a decision. And that's a decision that people make. But that I would put that in the left brain category around strategy. And in the right brain around the creative process, it's how does one continue to arc and continue to come to a higher level of your own humanity and move forward with healing and then achieving and then growing. And that to me is why both of those elements have been critical for me my entire life.
No, okay, the call is- Yeah. So I hope Dr. Darshil received your answer. And thanks for your presentation, LeAnita. So please be in the backstage and enjoy our next sessions. So thanks for your presence and have a lovely weekend and bye.
Thank you. Thank you for
Bye
having
bye.
me. It's been a joy.